What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and welcome back to another video guide. In today's video, we are going to take a look at Gladio's Lost Chapter Lufenia fight. So before we do start, like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help the channel and I would really appreciate it. And one more announcement is that I am going to be back on night shift next week, so do expect videos to be delayed. So I do apologize in advance, but that's just the way it works. I had 2 weeks off from work and now going back on the night shift. It is only going to be for a week, so hopefully things do get back to the just the normal maybe 1 or 2 days delay when it comes to videos after that, but we'll just have to wait and see how I feel. As always, now without further ado, let's start this video. Alright guys, as always, we'll start this off in how you're gonna deal with the Lufenia orb, which starts at the start of the battle and will disappear once you hit less than 80% and will reappear again once you hit less than 50% of their HP. So the way we are going to be dealing with the Lufenia orb in this particular fight is a little bit tricky. It's kind of like a two-parter. First of all, you'll need to be able to delay the bosses or the boss, and also hit it with an elemental weakness. Now, this shouldn't be an issue, however, the bosses actually don't have a natural weakness or a natural elemental weakness, so you will have to apply an enchant/imperil for your team and against the bosses, obviously. So there are some characters who can naturally do this, such as Sabin, obviously, since his LD is being featured in this particular banner for this kind of event, and of course lightning can do this as well. However, there aren't a lot of characters that can do this naturally, so I did add a couple of characters that can do the delay part. It just needs some sort of enchantment attached to them. So characters like obviously Cloud of Darkness, Garland, Tifa, and Lael can do this. Now, I added Fujin here because she can actually delay with her C65 ability, believe it or not. So she can enchant and imperil with the wind element and can also do it effectively. Now, she can only do this twice, but it is still something worth noting. Now, you do get 8 of the Lufenia orbs when you are able to meet the requirement, so it does add up quite a bit. Alright, now let's talk about how the fight works. First of all, the bosses will have high defenses at certain stages of the fight. At the start of the fight at 100%, and when you hit less than 70% and less than 40%. They also gain a lot of brave during these instances, so it is very hard to break them since instant break isn't going to work. So you will have to naturally destroy the brave or brave shave, or if you are able to actually absorb the damage with your tanks. Now, the other thing that is noteworthy is their recast ability is actually a guaranteed hit and inflict a lot of debuffs. And the bosses also have different types of modes, which can affect how aggressive the boss will be. Now, on blue, this is just their normal phase. At green, they will do more HP attacks, and at red, they will have a brave region. You can see this or notice this with the boss's, I guess, laser eyes. It's not an aura or anything, it's the eyes you need to look out for. Okay, so now let's talk about how you're going to deal with this fight. Now, first of all, like I mentioned earlier, you will need an enchant/imperiler, whether it'll be in your main party or a call ability, as the bosses do not have a natural elemental weakness. Now, once you have that active, delay them immediately. Do not wait to set up your turns or whatever. If you have Cloud of Darkness, just delay them with her skill 2. Don't even bother using her LD at that point, because you are not going to be able to brave shave effectively. You can also tank, like I mentioned earlier, or break the boss naturally to get rid of the abnormally high defense of the bosses. Now, instant break isn't going to work as far as I'm aware, because according to the boss files is that you cannot force a break. So another way to do this is obviously using gravity based attacks. So Bart's can actually work pretty well here, and maybe to a certain extent maybe even Ultimisia if you are struggling with the abnormally high brave gain and abnormally high defense. Now, as far as characters that you may want to bring, honestly, again, I'm kind of repeating the same characters here. You can just pause to see who you want to bring. I do recommend, if you did pull for Sabin, just bringing him along, since he can naturally delay and apply the enchant/imperil naturally. Those are very, those are going to be the key and also going to help you actually finish this fight. Now, as for the calls, however, I added Fujin back because I think she's the best one who can do a imperil / enchant, and Kryl can do this as well if you have her LD and don't plan to bring her in your main team. The great thing about Kryl is, one, you can increase the damage that you do with the elemental weakness with her skill 1 or call 1 I should say, and then her call 2 can actually paralyze the bosses as well, and that should help you delay the I guess if you are struggling to break them, that will delay them a little bit longer if it does trigger. Now, another character that I've added here is Ashe if you have her LD, and that's what I ended up using in this particular fight. Cloud can delay, so if you already have some sort of imperil and enchant, like aura enchant to the party, he can definitely do the Lufenia orb counter. Now, as for Kurosame, I still added him here because even though I believe he doesn't actually give you like ice imperil with his skills, he is still a very good call character to increase the overall HP damage that you do. Alright guys, now let's talk about party compositions, and of course the first one is going to be the team that I went with, which consists of Core, the Cloud of Darkness, and Porum, with a core team of Fujin, Kurosame, and Ashe. Now, I got called for my support, but you can definitely change that up as well, and a Ramu for the summon. Now, the idea here is obviously the off damage that Core and COD can do. Porum's just here for the survivability in case I do get hit by an HP attack, and really I was hoping that I don't get hit by an HP attack by a ton, since she can still reduce the amount of HP damage that I receive. The second team is going to consist of Garland, Cloud of Darkness once again, and Ashe. Kurosame, Jack, and Amidalion for this one, and Sephiroth for the support. Ramu is still up for the summon for me, but I think if you're struggling to find the right I suppose starting turns, because the boss can be a little bit fast sometimes, so they can overtake COD and you end up dying. You can change Ramu here. I just went with Ashe in the main team in this one, so you don't have to worry about the enchant/imperil. Ashe can do this with her LD, and you can just keep delaying with Cloud of Darkness and Garland. And Sephiroth is actually a very good support to bring if you are struggling with that high amount of brave, because with his burst, now you do have to understand you do need a Sephiroth burst support, because with his burst you're able to put their brave down back to 1, which essentially makes it easier for you to do a ton of damage, and breaking them will destroy their defenses. Now, the final team I have for you guys here is going to be Cloud of Darkness, once again, Gladio and Porum. You might have noticed I keep putting Cloud of Darkness. You don't really need Cloud of Darkness. I just feel like she's the most effective one when it comes to delay. You can switch her up with Garland, who's also consistent with the delays. It's just really up to you who you want to do the delays. And for me personally, I would really recommend Cloud of Darkness. Cult team for this one, Fujin, Kral, and Kurosame. Support Cloud of Darkness once again, and summon is going to be Ramu. Alright guys, so we're finally towards the end of this video, and of course I'll give you guys my final thoughts regarding the fight. In all honesty, the fight itself was only really hard at the start, trying to get the right turn order, and you know, sometimes I just had to refresh it a few times to get the right turn order that I really wanted to actually, you know, set up my characters. At the end of it all, I just said stuff this, I'll just use skill 2, and you know, that's the end of the story, and I pretty much just did that with Cloud of Darkness. So once I set up the Imperial / Enchant, I just went with skill 2 just to delay them, so the Lufenia orb counters don't actually drop down too quickly, because honestly, with the amount of turns you do plus the boss's added turns, they will immediately trigger the Lufenia orb. So Lufenia orb recast ability or cast ability, whatever you want to call it, and that'll be the end of the fight. So honestly, I think after you get past that certain stage, it's not that all difficult. You still need to brave shave the bosses. Core, actually, I didn't mention this earlier, can actually, you know, deal with the high amount of brave, because his Reaper's Gale, you know, immediately hits with the rainbow damage, which means he'll be doing maximum brave damage, and therefore shaving those brave much quicker. So I didn't mention that, but Core actually, you know, helped me a lot with that Reaper's Gale. And you know, I wasn't really expecting, I was expecting just to, you know, just do this fight normally, or shave those brave normally with an enchant / Imperial and maybe delay. But turns out, you know, I just needed Core to use his Reaper's Gale. So that's it basically. So like I said, the fight is hard at the beginning, but once you get on track, the fight itself isn't too difficult. Now the name of the game is still going to be delay. That is the strategy that you will need to apply. Now I know a lot of people don't actually like that you know, strategy, and you know, feels like a little bit cheesy, but that's the thing. You know, you want the fight, this fight was designed to be cheese. When you see you need to delay the boss, basically the fight is designed to be cheese. So anyway guys, that is it for this video. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, it does help the channel and would really appreciate it as well if you share this video to a fellow Dffoo player or a new player who is struggling to beat any of the Lufenia orbs, and check out my other videos as well when it comes to Lufenia guides. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. Leave down in the comments below which team you use a different strategy as well. Please leave them all down in the comments below. And once again, I do want to remind you guys, videos for next week is going to be delayed because of night shift for me. That is it. This is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.